What's up, y'all? I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. As promised, remember the last time I gave you guys a review, you got the artificial intelligence review. Well, tonight I'm going to give you the Cyberbunker analysis. We're going to run through this real quick, and then I got a bunch of little updates to kind of give you guys as we go along. Let me turn down my Arctic Air. Let me turn down that a little bit, and then we'll get rolling here. Now, as you guys all know, and this is probably going to have some spoilers, of course, Netflix has come up with a documentary about these European guys, these cyber hackers, these cybersecurity hackers, if you will. These dudes, what they've done is they got together and they used the dark net in a German town, in a tourist town, very beautiful town. And I actually took some pretty good notes here. So I wanted to kind of go through all out of those notes while YouTube, I will be using fair use for this here. Going through this documentary and some of the information that I found. Now, there's this place called Trebach, I believe. And that is where this group of individuals created this home base. So, here we go. Now, as the beginning, what you have is they're looking for a suspect. They said a guy from the Netherlands. This dude was in the Netherlands initially. So you have this SWAT team. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward it. You have this SWAT team, and, they came upon these folks. They came upon them almost like there were some straight drugs. I might have to take a couple screenshots as I go along. But, pretty much these hackers, they got together. They were under the guise that the police wouldn't really know too much about it, because at that time when they started hacking, the police didn't know much about the internet. And initially what they started doing is, the way they made money is they had their own data center, and they were hosting pornography on their servers. So part of the bunker that they initially had, they were renting out some of the bunker that they initially had to an ecstasy lab. So I'm gonna try my best to break it down. All of the dialogue, I think, is pretty much in subtitles. So I'm gonna try to break it down best way I can, and I'll be skipping around by bits and pieces.
Ein außergewöhnlicher Schlag gegen die Cyber.
That's just the news.
Den hat immer einen langen Mantel angehabt. Aber hier aufgetreten ist als Geschäftsmann. Im Jahre 2013.
So that's in 2013. There was a regular city council meeting. The council meeting person is basically saying, "Hey, there's this dude named Zent." Now that's the main culprit of the story. Zent is the guy that basically said, "Hey, look, I'm trying to get this bunker. I want to buy this bunker." Zent actually had a computer shop at one point in time. He made a lot of money. He even made enough money where he could get him a lamb. So that's him trying to buy the bunker. He showed he basically said he was Dutch, and he did this before. He said, we need room for the employees, for the IT people. He said it's going to grow over time. So he said he created what we call the cloud, or the data center there. And the people of that town, they thought it was exciting. Silicon Valley, Trebach.
Aber das war nicht der Jubelschrei im Stadtrat, dass jetzt ein Käufer gefunden worden ist.
Verhindern konnten wir es als Stadtrat.
So at that time, the city council couldn't prevent it. Now the mayor's talking here. He has mixed feelings about it.
Man hatte nur gehört, da fahren abends
He
mal
heard
Autos
trucks
rein,
coming and
raus,
going all
fahren
through the night,
Equipment irgendwie
and they had to get this
bekommen.
equipment into the bunker.
Aber es war alles nicht so direkt greifbar.
So he's talking about
Aus
that.
dem Rathaus wurde dann auch mal gegoogelt. Wer ist denn das? Wo kommt
And a
der
lot
her?
of people in the city hall, they were Googling. They were doing a lot of Googling, trying to figure things out. Who is this guy? What is he up to? I'll kind of move over here.
Resistant bunker, the Cyberbunker. Not that I expect the coming of World War III.
Now, this is a nuclear resistant bunker that this guy had. So I think initially when you went to cyberbunker.com, he's breaking that down, basically saying that, hey, I'm in a bunker.
But it is always
personal computers.
He made a
Now, this is the background on him. Now, he had a computer store in 1990. Now, remember, in 1990, not everybody had computers as widely as they do now. Like, I remember in the late 2000s, you could get what they call an e-machine. You might be able to get it for $199 or whatever the case may be. I mean, 1990, I mean, these computers were going anywhere probably between $3,000 to $6,000.
Had a store which was just selling computers. Very early days of personal computers.
he made a good amount of money with that. He bought himself a Lamborghini, and he had money.
So this is the guy that was like one of his business partners talking about this dude. He was papered up. He had a Lamborghini. He had enough money to buy a bunker.
Born.
They had a bunch of servers. They were hosting porn websites. All websites have to be physically hosted somewhere.
Now this was pre-cloud, y'all. So they pretty much had their own little data center.
Computer or on
Well, not little, but it
a
was
server,
actually pretty big.
portion of the bunker to another group. Zenz said that he knew nothing about what was going on. He had simply sublet the space, and what they did was their own business. And eventually the police had no choice but to accept his version.
So he basically said the first data center that they had, I think they're talking about the first data center. I can't remember. I think they are, because I think the first one burnt down or something happened to it. But basically this guy, he was subleasing it to some other people, and they were trapping. That's why I call this the Cyber Bando. I think I'm gonna call this the Cyber Bando. I think that's what the title is gonna be tonight. They was trapping out the bando. They was trapping out the data center, and he tried to act like he didn't know that this was an ecstasy lab in his bunker. So we'll skip
place
over
to
here.
live in. I have contact me.
Now, right here at the, what are we at here?
Die Leute, die zu Cyberbunker gekommen sind, die waren auf der Suche.
So this is the IT manager. He was talking about Cyberbunker.
There was a time where
I think I'm
was
at
having a really
the.
tough time.
Damn, it's not telling the minute mark. I don't know why it doesn't. Okay, yeah. So at the 20-minute mark, basically you're getting kind of an introduction to the employees. They're talking about what the bunker was like, what the workers like.
And we always had supper together. It took some time
So
for people to get to know you and to accept you.
So they're basically saying that, you know, this guy, he started getting the team together. They rarely left the bunker. They would eat together. They would talk together. They were very autonomous with each other.
But when that happened, we
Exam. Und hat nach unten.
Now we'll move on. There was a hairdresser that the founder of Cyberbunker, this guy, what he would do is he would go into town and, you know, he would get his hair done, and, you know, so she's kind of giving her perspective and everything. Eventually, like I said, this guy moved to Germany. So I'm really doing a lot of skipping around and stuff like that. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. This is for education and analysis here, not for profit. So, this guy, he left one data center because I believe that caught on fire. Then he turned around, and that's why I said he went to this place called Traben. Let's get the right name. let's get the right name. Let's find out where this place is at, so I'm not just being tongue-tied. Okay, how do you spell this? Traben Trarbach. Okay. Traben Trarbach. Okay, so let's look and see where this is at. So it's on the Middle Moselle. It's in a town in the Bank Castile Willich district in Rhineland-Palatinate, Germany. The city lies in the so-called Valley of Dawn. So I don't really know where this is at. It is in Germany. They say on TripAdvisor it's one of the best places to visit. It looks like a very beautiful place. It looks like there's some castle ruins down there. So let's see if I could get the actual, how do you pronounce this? How do you pronounce this? All right, let's see if this is it.
Trabach.
Trabach. So Trabach. I'm gonna try to say that. Trabach. That's how you say it, I believe. Trabach. I just want to be correct. So it looks like if we just get a little bit of history from this place, so we know what we're dealing with. As early as 830, Emperor Louis the Pious, Charlemagne's son. Okay, 17th century. All right. The area around Trabach was annexed to Prussia in 1816. All right. I'm trying to think if it had anything to do with the war. Well, what happened in the war? Did anything happen in the war? They got a lot of wineries there, a lot of motorboat racings. Yeah, I don't see much where, I was kind of wondering what was going on over there around World War I, World War II. Well, that's another story, but nice looking town. We'll keep it going.
Worauf? Sehr kalt, sehr nüchtern. Das war schon ein bisschen merkwürdig, ne?
So this is the mayor speaking. He went in. He said it was very cold, very strange, no windows. The mayor must have got suspicious and he wanted to kind of go around. He said it feels like you're floating in time and space. He went in there to talk to the guy, talk to the people, say, hey, what's going on up here? And he thought it was very unusual. So they invited him in. Yeah, like, go ahead and come in. If you would look, y'all gotta watch this documentary, man. If you look at this documentary, it was for real nuclear bunker for real.
Verfahrensschutz in allererster Linie und genießt Priorität.
What messed me up, if you go into like the 30-minute mark, and my reviews, I'm gonna try to make them short and sweet. It may kind of get you guys a little annoyed. But the thing about it is, man, they were able to get a wiretap. I don't know what the laws are in Germany or in Europe, but for some reason, somehow, some kind of way, they were able to get like a wiretap. But these dudes were speaking in code. They were speaking in code. And look, the bunker had 5 levels. Initially, the mayor, they thought that they had a weed farm. And the police were quietly investigating this. Nobody really knew what was going on around the time. But I don't know I don't know what kind of laws they have in terms of wiretapping and all of that. But I thought that was very interesting. So dude was pretty much this was like the Wire, man. They had a wiretap. The dude was like the Avon Barksdale of cyber trapping. So eventually what they ended up doing is they consider them almost like a gang structure. And they mentioned a RICO investigation. Now, everything they would do, they would host anything except for terrorism and child pornography. But one interesting thing that I found that was very telling is one of the main hackers, he believed in hosting anything. He believed, he was sitting up there with his buttery teeth talking about, hey man, I don't care what we host. You should have free reign. So I mean, my spidey sense went up with him a little bit, and I said, well, you know, I can understand where you're like, okay, your customers, they're paying for you to host whatever. It's not necessarily your business to scout through their data and stuff like that. But when you say, well, he doesn't care what they host no matter what, I think when, you know, especially when you being a cybersecurity person, you should have an area for children in your heart where you should say, well, you know, we can't have that. He basically said, I don't care what you host. So if you know that they're hosting something like this, which I believe in fact they were at one point in time, they were hosting it. I don't know if they had looked into it or whatever the case may be, but once when they came in and they grabbed all them servers and stuff like that, there was all kind of stuff, but they couldn't get them for that. So this dude named Savin, he was arrested for breaking the internet. You know, but I really got some meth head Max vibes from that dude. He was arrested for breaking the internet, but he wasn't arrested for anything else. So, you know, I think they did some network node monitoring on these guys in 2017. They might have been using Wireshark, whatever the case may be. And they basically said that these folks was hosting people that were doing phishing, narcotics, hacking. I mean, you got folks who was literally trapping fentanyl, all kind of stuff off of their websites. Now they didn't create the websites. They just hosted, and they had a data center, because you got to host a website somewhere, you know. So they were just hosting the data. I noticed another thing was very, very interesting. Now, a lot of times, you know, what they talk about with black folks and they crime and our crime. Man, let me tell you something. They said Ireland was plagued with gangs and drugs. They had this dude named the Penguins. He was like he was like the big Meech of Ireland. He was like the big Meech of Ireland. He had been selling and trapping for over 20-some years. They could never catch him. They called him the Penguin. And he was hooked up with some of these folks here. This dude was hooked up with these Cyberbunker folks. And they kept saying, well, we don't know that people is out here selling dope on our websites and whatever the case may be. So, you know, I want to skip down to the 57 mark. I'm telling you, I'm going to ruin it for y'all. The 57-minute mark, a place called the Wall Street Market. And the FBI was investigating them.
So if you put bits and pieces together, like ecstasy lab, fire,
so the first Cyberbunker in the Netherlands
to Germany.
That was, and then the first Cyberbunker was in the Netherlands. I ain't gonna lie, man, their bunker was kind of dope. I am not gonna lie. We need a Negro Cyberbunker. We need a legal Negro Cyberbunker where black folks, man, could create cybersecurity firms to get stuff together where you ain't not hacking and doing all this felonious stuff, but a real deal Holyfield legit Cyberbunker. And then he turned around and he got the second Cyberbunker in how do you say that? Trarbach. I think that's how you say it. I keep forgetting how to say it.
Buying another bunker, providing data services to external customers, Irish mobsters being involved.
Now see, the Irish mobster, George Mitchell in Dublin, Ireland. Then that Savin dude and being involved in DDoS attacks on a global scale.
Being involved in DDoS attacks on a global scale, hosting black markets. It becomes such a big story.
I'm telling you, these dudes,
that you really have to dig deep into it to create a bigger picture.
Let me see okay, now in LA they got the FBI office right here. So they got this one dude, he's gonna talk for a little bit.
My name is Leroy Shelton. I'm a supervisory special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I've been with the FBI for 10 years, all with the Cyber Division. And in 2017, I worked the biggest, most sophisticated cyber investigation of my career, and it involved the Cyberbunker.
Now, this is interesting because how far do they go when it comes to international crime? How far do they go when it comes to international crime? That's what I want to know.
In the fall of 2017, we opened an investigation into Wall Street market.
Man, they was selling dope, everything.
6,500 vendors on that market sold drugs to 1.1 million users.
I can see the thing with fentanyl.
Also wenn wir jetzt über den Drogenbereich reden von Wall Street.
Okay, let's see what this dude. So this dude was basically saying, okay, there's grass. He said cocaine, fentanyl, MDMA. They was selling everything.
The painkiller fentanyl is now the #1 killer drug in the U.S.
Fentanyl is 50 times stronger than heroin.
Now this is the
battle
news.
Against a deadly narcotic. Fentanyl is taking the opioid epidemic to a new level of urgency.
The connection between fentanyl and opioids in the darknet can be summed up in 2 words, which is access and convenience.
Half
problem. Belonged to the Cyberbunker in Germany, belonging to Hermann Zinn.
Bulletproof data center is what they're saying.
Wir haben ein No-Matter-What-Service.
Man, listen. These folks was out here trapping out the bando, man. They were cyber bando trapping, man. Eventually what happened is the guy ended up getting convicted. The feds the police came in, they seized 2 petabytes of data. They got convicted of running a criminal organization but not aiding and abetting, and they only got 5 years. So the overall summary, what they were trying to say is, hey, we got a right to privacy. And we should not be eavesdropping on a third party. And, you know, when it comes to eavesdropping and stuff, you know, I got mixed feelings about that, man, because I know that the so-called constitutional rights that we're supposed to have, we ain't got them. And Vin was not arrested. So he kind of took the gangster approach. He's like, man, I'm going straight outlaw. He was never arrested. If you see this dude, you know you're going to know what I'm talking about in a minute. When you see this dude and you hear him, I'll close out of this. I'm not going to analyze anymore because I don't want to ruin this for y'all. But when y'all see this dude and see that he wasn't arrested, it's going to blow you away. It's going to blow you away. But one thing that I wanted to cover, and I talked about this for a little while, this was a position, because remember what I said before, the page you requested could not be found. Let's see if we could try again. Come on, let's see. Okay, that position is not there. I should have took a screenshot. They had a position for technical support for $100 a week in the Bronx. But I think they were saying you got to speak Spanish. Man, I should have grabbed that screenshot. Because now I ain't got no proof. Now y'all could think I'm just plebiscite babbling. There was a technical support position. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if they took it off or if it might have been a scam or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Technical support. Let me see here. Bronx, New York. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, man. Jeez. Yeah, $100,000 ain't nothing in New York, man. Well, they don't have it anymore. But what they were saying, y'all, is they said something about $100 per week. That was the job listing. Now, who's gonna be able to work for $100 per week doing technical support? It said that you can earn $100 per week and be anywhere in the United States. And I was kind of thinking of the illegal alien thing down there in New York. But I don't know who the hell is gonna work for $100 a week. But I thought that was very interesting. Now, I got this one position that I happened to see, and you know I like to analyze the positions. This was a position, and I think I'm going to do a video on this too. But the position was based in Stillwater for, you know, a corporation out there, man. And at first they wanted it to be hybrid. They emailed me about maybe 5-6 times, all these different agencies, whatever the case may be. And they said, I said, where's the position? They said, well, It's in Stillwater, Minnesota. I said, oh, uh-oh. Anybody that's a black person, you need to know. Stillwater, Minnesota has a level 4 max security prison out there. That's one of the big DOCs out there. Now, you know, you're working out there. Ain't like nobody gonna kidnap you and throw you in there. I just wanted to kind of bring that up. It has a nice waterfront out there, but Stillwater is a known area for a lot of race soldiers. That's just a known thing about black folks. Black folks know that Stillwater is the kind of place where, you know, you gotta you want to watch yourself a little bit. You going out there at night. Sometimes, you know, like I say, they got a waterfront. You go out there with your lady, whatever the case may be. But there was a situation not too long ago, and I'd be bogus if I don't point it out. There was a Somali sister out there, and I believe she was with her kids, because if she was with a man, somebody might have got their ass thrashed. And it was some race soldiers. It was 2 or 3 white supremacists, and it was also a female race soldier as well. And they were harassing the sister. They were bothering her, and, you know, they probably seen, you know, she was Muslim, so they seen her attire and whatnot, and they was harassing her. And they only did that because she was by herself, and I believe she was with her children. Now, I'm just kind of painting you the picture for, you know, and, you know, Stillwater, hold on, let me pull it up, because I like to bring my receipts. Let me, oh, I didn't see this. This is interesting. No, we gonna cover this. We ain't just gonna do tech. We gonna cover this. We gonna cover this. This was... There was a black woman down there. It says Stillwater, Minnesota. Hold on. I know this was an article. Stillwater, Minnesota. Oh, yep. Here we go. Here we go. Now, we gonna talk about this. Now, there's this dude that was an umbrella man. So he was known as the umbrella man, what he was doing. Now, this was on, this is an article from July 29th, 2020. And basically, there was a Muslim woman that was walking around in Stillwater on Main Street. And there was a biker gang. And there was some dude named the Umbrella Man. He was holding an umbrella and he was breaking the windows of wait a minute, hold on. Whoa, wait a minute. It says when Sophia Rashid ran into harassment from a white supremacist biker gang in Stillwater, she felt the danger immediately, but it wasn't until she got home and scraped the internet for more information about the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood that she realized this group isn't dangerous, it's organized. So she's a 25-year-old. Let me see. She went down. It says a search warrant affidavit now identifies one of the gang members on Umbrella Man who was responsible for the AutoZone property at George Floyd. So hold on. The search affidavit. This is important, y'all. Well, why is he bringing it up in tech? Damn it, it's important because we're talking about Stillwater. The search warrant affidavit filed July 27 by the Minneapolis police at the Hennepin County District. Okay, they identified him as Umbrella Man. They say that he destroyed the AutoZone. The man named in the search warrant, Mitchell Wesley Carlson, hasn't been charged with a crime. He's described as a member of the Hells Angels biker gang and was known associate as the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood. The affidavit said he was also apparently present at the incident in Stillwater. So this sister was eating burgers with ice cream with her 4-year-old. Now, understand, they target our children. Now, this dude, it said, then members of the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood approached her on the sidewalk of Main Street. While Sophia escaped the scene, escorted by servants from a restaurant, she walked a gauntlet and 5 other groups wearing motorcycle jackets with related insignia. One man approached Sophia and started yelling at her. Sophia shut down, she recalled, and couldn't decipher what he was saying. She voiced her concerns first to local police, then on Facebook. After that post went viral, local media requested an interview with her. Instead of illuminating Sophia's frightful experience, the segment that ultimately aired on KSTP TV presented a strange and strained account of the incident. Let's click on that real quick. Now the sister, yeah, she had the whole. This is KSTP reporter. This is from the Sahan Journal. Asked Muslims woman, what's the difference between a hijab and a white supremacist gang regalia? Sophia Rashid agreed to tell a reporter about feeling threatened by an Aryan biker gang in Stillwater. It didn't go well. Listen to this. No, we gotta cover this. We gotta cover this, man. Sophia Rashid told a story to tell about being visibly Muslim in outstate Minnesota, so she showed up to meet Beth McDowell, a reporter for KSTP TV, at the Dar Al-Farouk Mosque in Bloomington. Now keep in mind, y'all, that I believe that was one of the mosques that got attacked not too long ago. Another one was burnt down not too long ago, I believe, too. So a week later, it says she posted a description on Facebook of a scary episode that had taken place in Stillwater, June 27th. So she was wearing a hijab and a niqab covering her face, eating burgers and ice cream with her 4-year-old daughter. Then a white supremacist motorcycle gang approached her on the sidewalk of Main Street. So Madono, a local news reporter, had messaged Sophia to collect her account of the alleged harassment she experienced from the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood, a group characterized by law enforcement as an outlaw motorcycle gang. But the July 7th interview instead took one uncomfortable turn after another. In the lead to the reported package, studio anchor Paul Foger referred to Sophia's experience with the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood as a controversial conversation. And as Sophia later described it, the segment went downhill from there. Instead of illuminating Sophia's frightful experience, the segment that ultimately aired presented a strange and strained account of the incident. Now, this is what Sophia told Sahan Journal 2 days later. She said, I just can't believe that Channel 5 said it's a controversial story. I'm not sure what's controversial about it. Madono and KSTP News Management said they were unavailable to speak to Sahan Journal on short notice. Sophia later recounted what happened in Stillwater with details omitted from the KSTP report. I want y'all to really understand this. I covered this in the megalomaniacal-masochistic mainstream media chapter. Race soldiers, liberal, conservative, doesn't matter what it is, they will cover for each other. I just told you that this umbrella dude that burnt down the auto zone was connected with some of these folks in Stillwater. What was he doing out there? I need y'all to really understand this, black folks. I'm just giving a little segment on Stillwater. I wasn't going to get this deep, but since we now have the information presented to us, I have no choice but to present it. The KSTP segment attracted notice and criticism from commenters on Facebook and Twitter who described the interview as disgraceful and ignorant. And some lady named Eric Hanna said, wow, KSTP, the questioning by Beth Madono to Sophia Rashid was disgraceful and ignorant, comparing her hijab and niqab to the symbols of white supremacy by the biker gang that was harassing her. That comparison sides with hate. Your words matter. Now listen to this. She filed a report after her run-in with the motorcycle gang. That document, along with Sophia's description in an interview with Sahan Journal, presented an uncomfortable account. Sophia said she had finished eating at Leo's Grill and Malt Shop with her daughter when the members of the motorcycle gang, wearing vests that said Aryan Cowboys, passed her on the sidewalk and started staring Sophia down. They said things like, "We're watching you," to Sophia, according to the police report. Sophia said her body tensed up and she couldn't move. Now, no disrespect to our brothers from the diaspora, but let me tell you something. You would have had one of us foundationals out there and they would have pulled that stunt. Let me tell you, if me and my homies would have been there and they would have pulled that off, wouldn't have been no interviews. This wouldn't have made it to KSTP. It would have been some business stood up on if they would have pulled that stunt with us. If we would have seen the sister and they would have pulled that with us, it wouldn't have been no interviews. Because you just can't see, they said why I believe everything she's saying. She said her body tensed up and she couldn't move. Oh, I would have been moving. When the crowd crossed the street, Sophia alerted her server, who, along with a colleague, offered to escort Sophia and her daughter to her car parked near Teddy Bear Park. While walking about 5 blocks, so keep in mind, y'all, this is 5 blocks. No men were there to help protect them. She received stares from 5 other groups of people who wore related motorcycle jackets and insignia. According to the police report, Sophia said the gang members walking past her, and they are gang members, felt like a coordinated effort to intimidate her. Now listen to this. This is even worse. But it wasn't just hateful stares from the gang members. One man started yelling at Sophia as he approached her and came near. Sophia described herself as being on the autism spectrum and said she didn't respond well to loud noises. She shut down, she recalled, and couldn't decipher what we were saying. So this sister here, I'm looking at man, they got photos right here. I didn't see this. Sophia Rashid, look, it says 2 employees from Leo's ran with Sophia's daughter to escape the Aryan Brotherhood. Maybe this wasn't okay. I thought this was this a Somali woman? I thought it was. No, I'm looking at her daughter. Her daughter don't look Somali. She looks like she's Middle Eastern. Okay. She looks like she's Middle Eastern. Still, no, we're not letting you jump on no little because if it would have been at night, what would y'all would have did? So okay, I get it. So she's saying she had autism and she kind of okay. So she's on the autism spectrum. So she was with her daughter. Okay, she remembered having seeing a swastika tattooed on his back. She told the 2 servers from Leo's to run with her daughter. I felt like I was in immediate danger. If they hurt me, they hurt my daughter. If they hurt anyone else tonight, I have their faces. Sophia, her daughter, and the servers from Leo's hid in the lower hotel, called the police, according to the spokesperson at the Stillwater Police Department. Case remains under investigation. Of course it does, because they're on code with each other. She recounted the entire experience in Stillwater, the actual Nazis, the teenage servers who helped her escape, and the Stillwater police officers who said they had never even heard of the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood. Man, please. Man, please. This is a picture of them right here. Sophia Rashid passed by various gang members, wears the Aryan Cowboy Brotherhood vest. So she took pictures of these folks. She took pictures of these folks. I'll break this down on my other channel, but man, I'm just telling y'all that now you see why I'm wary of Stillwater. I had some jerk chicken at a spot maybe about 7+ years ago. Me and my wife went down there, but like I said, if me and my homies would have been down there, man, they would have tried to jump on that woman and her daughter, man. Have been saying something. We would like, man, what's happening? Because most of the time they cowards. 9 times out of 10 they cowards. What's happening? Y'all, it's 3-4 of us. Y'all got your biker gang. You'd be like, okay, DP, you getting way off tech. Nah, man. Y'all got to understand. Remember I said what I said about Matamita? I'm standing on it. Stillwater, I'm standing on it. I said I'm not working out there. I'm not really trying to work out in Stillwater, man. I'm not trying to. Now, if it's a county, if it's like Ramsey County, or I think it's Washington County and part of that, maybe the county. But like I said, man, the county building office, maybe that. But I'm telling y'all because this is what's going on down there. There was a brother, I believe it was Stillwater. I believe it was Stillwater. Let me pull up this receipt too. This is important. I'm bringing this up. I'm not trying to use scare tactics. I'm just telling the damn truth. There was a brother where it was an undercover race soldier where I think he got knocked out. Stillwater police punch man. Was that Stillwater? Yeah. Hold on. Wait a minute. Stillwater inmate punches correctional officer. No, there was something else. There was a man. There was a black man. I believe that was Stillwater, man. Let me see if this was. There was a brother. Okay, this was 2013. Oh, at Smalley's Caribbean Barbecue. See, I went down to downtown Stillwater. I think it was a brother that punched somebody. I think he got some time. But there was another situation, I believe, that was in Stillwater too. I can't really remember it. But I think there was a brother that got punched by a cop that was undercover in Stillwater. It was somewhere here in Minnesota. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it probably was a race soldier talking slick at the mouth. And the brother probably had to put the hands on him. You see what I'm saying? Like, let me see here. Okay, no, that was in 20. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Stillwater, man, it's, you know, because sometimes there's some brothers, they'll go down there with their buddies or their wives and they'll go to the waterfront. It's a nice waterfront. It's a very nice waterfront, nice water boat and all that. And like I said, they got some good shops down there. Sometimes it gets really, really busy in the summer. But like I said, man, sometimes you might have, but I didn't really want to work down there, man. Anyway, the position, let's get back to the position. I'm going way off the deep end, but it is what it is, man. The position, they were looking for somebody that didn't necessarily require a whole lot of Salesforce experience. And they wanted somebody that just has more infrastructure experience. And it was I told them, I said, it's hybrid, I'm good. Then they're like, oh, it's 100% remote. They called back 2 weeks later. I said, okay, let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going on. Let's definitely see what's going on. So I wanted to go through, there was another position that I just happened to hear about. Now this position was with a company called TCS. I worked with TCS before. And initially they were talking about $20-something an hour. And I told you, sometimes just wait and see what these folks is talking about. Because there was another position for the same company, same position, that said they had a salary of $80,000. So I emailed the recruiter back just to confirm. Now, this is likely within Maple Grove, so it's probably by DRC or either Boston Scientific. Hardware repair, laptops, Office 365, advanced OS software troubleshooting over the phone, iOS support, Android operating systems. They just want you to have moderate knowledge of that. Knowledge to troubleshoot the VPN issues, Pulse Secure, VPN on demand, Pulse. MDM AirWatch. That's how I learned how to use AirWatch a little bit. That's now bought by VMware, I believe. So yeah, that position 9 times out of 10, TCS Tata Consulting Services is pretty much the Cargill of India. So they pretty much got the game locked down when it comes to IT managed service recruiting for the most part around the world. They have all these big contracts, like places with, you know, Boston Scientific and Target and Cargill and some of the big dogs. You know, they don't want to hire internally anymore. They want to scrape the American people out and they just hire everybody else offshore like they've been doing pretty much everything else. Anyway, they're saying $80K with benefits. This is completely on site. So I sent it to some of my homies. I'm not really into it. I don't really want to go back there. I'm not interested or whatever. But, you know, like I say, I told some of my guys, I said, y'all might want to check it out. Y'all might want to check it out, man. So, you know, you have 3 to 4 years of desktop support, whatever case may be, man. You know, you're going to kind of learn everything on the fly over there. It's not the greatest environment, but it is what it is. You know, it's something to look at. It's definitely something to look at. So I just think, you know, like I say, they want you to do some imaging, desktop, laptop support. Things are kind of tightening up, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, things are tightening up. I got a position here. Now, remember what I always told you, especially like in the first, you know, the first volume that I was breaking down. Man, I always tell people when they say, well, how to get in the game, and man, DP, I need some advice or whatever the case may be. I want to learn how, I want to learn how I could get into the game or whatever the case may be and to get into tech. Here's the thing you need to understand. One of my biggest blunders is when I worked for a Citrix managed service provider. I should have stayed longer. Remember when I break down the story where I talked about when I was working in that in that field and working under that company for a certain amount of years, it was primarily a very right-wing conservative company. Very, very right-wing conservative. And I don't like to talk about the left or the right-wing bird too much, but I'm just saying, like, that kind of was the idea. And I was working with a dude, and I felt like he was trying to undermine me and do this and do that. And one thing he said, man, when you get to them big companies, man, they gonna treat you real, real, real bad. And see, I figured, well, I'll just go to Ameriprise. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, I said it. I'm gonna go to Ameriprise. There's more law and order. Like my pops used to say, oh, there's more law and order in the North, but there's more racism in the North than the South. Man, when I got over there and got around the liberal limousine, let me tell you what these folks was doing. They was doing stuff like flat out telling me, hey, man, we're not gonna train them. They were telling the buffer class folks over there to not train them. They had all these Indian guys over there that was basically working as contractors, so they would act as the buffer class a lot of times, and they'll do whatever them white folks tell them, man. They don't care. And they were like, hey, well, DP's not talking. He's not coming to all the little luncheons and the beer, things downtown and all that. And so they started, my numbers were good. My work was good. My performance was high. But because I wasn't being as talkative as they wanted to, well, yeah, I'm not going to be that talkative. I thought I could go over there, get a bigger bag. I was doing less when it comes to Citrix administration, and it was pretty much like an advanced ass desktop position. So I felt like my skills, not only were they being undermined, they were telling us stuff like we need to earn the right to get access to the XenApp servers and all types of crazy stuff. I said, whoa. So I always tell that story. It's like, man, if you're learning a craft and learning to be a subject matter expert in some technology you really like, man, just go ahead and stick with it. I should have stick with that first Citrix company, man, for, at least 6 years or whatever. And then I would have been able to do a position like this, probably commanding 130 plus easy. Like, this is a remote position anywhere in the United States. The skills they want is Citrix, XenApp, Zen Desktop Client, and platform experience expertise. When you're doing Citrix support, and a lot of people tell you what's old, but if you know it, you know it. And if you're good at it, you could make a lot of money just doing these contracts, man. Now, they're looking for somebody that's really, that they know how to do system scoping and defining implementation procedures, infrastructure performance management, infrastructure upgrades, project installations, cost requirements, service level, operational level agreements, designing high-performing, high-available systems. They want you working with the customer specifications and the budgets. So they actually told me they slipped up. Sometimes they don't do this when it comes to the job description. This company is called Spectrum Health Technology. Okay. So they want you to, maybe have a bachelor's. If not, if you got the skills, you got the skills. 5 years of system engineering, designing, implementing, supporting infrastructure. Gathering, design, development, testing, implementation. And that I would have probably needed 3+ to 5 years of experience being able to really, because you come in there and you design and provide solutions. You're coming in providing solutions. So that position right there, I reckon that you probably getting 55 an hour or so. That's my suspicion. That is my suspicion. Now, I was looking also, I got something from HR Brew where they said, right here, some 44% of employers around the globe plan to increase hiring in Q4. Now, this was an article that came out September 15th. So I wish I would have had this article back then. But it says the labor market had a rough start in 2023. Personally, we blame Mercury retrograde, whatever that is. Regardless of whether the planets or a market correction has been to blame for the surge in layoffs, a new report from staffing firm Manpower Group examining the global employment outlook found that 44% of employers plan to increase hiring in the final quarter of 2023. Just 14% expect to decrease hiring and 38% don't foresee a change. Now, I've been seeing a lot of positions. In December opening up. Now, look, despite the seemingly strong quarter four outlook, 77% of businesses said recruiters were struggling to find talent with the right skills for their jobs, up from 54% in 2019. While respondents appear just as likely to recruit permanent workers as temporary employees to fill the gaps, which is 42%, they're getting more creative about who they're considering for jobs. I had a homie email me the other day saying, man, I'm getting all types of, rejections. It's competitive, man. For example, 34% said they're returning to older workers seeking career changes. 26% reported considering long-term unemployed candidates. And 23% will look at applicants who don't meet all the technical requirements for the role. We hear Mercury sneaks back into retrograde by mid-December, so we could be in for a rough year end. Well, I don't know about the Mercury thing, but anyway. Okay. Well, I just happened to see this. This was interesting. I meant to read this before, but like I said, again, in Stillwater, Muslim group sounds alarms over Stillwater area bus threat. And this was in 2016. There was some dude with an airsoft pistol in the school bus. He's threatened to shoot a third grade student who's Somali American. The older student pulled out a gun on the bus and pointed at the other student, said he would kill him. The bus driver confiscated the gun, reported the incident, and the school called the sheriff's office. But they didn't say they was arrested. The threatened child's parents, who live in Woodbury, called the school and CARE MN to report the threat, said CARE MN Executive Director Jailani Hussein. Didn't it say it was in Stillwater? Yep, Stillwater area school. So that means Woodbury's Washington County, I believe. During the course of the investigation, there was nothing that led us to believe that this was a hate crime. There was a dispute between the two kids during the previous week. Obviously, they don't get along, and one pointed a replica gun at the kid and made statements. Stillwater School said they could not comment on the specifics of the case due to data privacy laws. Man, don't you know if that Somali kid would have did that to that white kid? You know he's white. Of course he's white. Because they would have figured out some kind of way. But see, they got to understand. We're asking all school districts. This is what Hussein from CARE MN said. We're asking all school districts across the state to step up protection for Muslim and other minority students in the wake of these incidents because of the wave of racist and anti-Muslim incidents following the November 8th election. See, what y'all got to understand, they're not targeting you because you're Muslim. They're targeting you because you're black. Now, you could think you ain't black all you want, but they're not targeting you just because you're Muslim. They are targeting you because you're black. Okay? And that's what other Africans in the diaspora need to understand. You could say it's your religion. When they look at you, they see black. They don't give a damn about who you pray to. You could pray to the east, you could pray to the north, you could pray to the south. They looking at you like, hey, this is a person that's not white, and you're up for mistreatment. That's how they're looking at that. Now, that's Stillwater. There's a bunch of other cases I could talk about in Stillwater. I'm just saying. Here's something that I thought was very interesting when it comes to technology here. But first, I think I had a couple other ones that I wanted to kind of cover. What do we got here? What do we got? I want to cover, let me make sure I got all the positions that I wanted to run through as well. Y'all might find a position that you're interested in. Now, this was one that was interesting, but they said, now this company here by the name of Abtech. Now, this is a IT company, Abtech Professional Resources. they needed a contract. They needed somebody for a position in St. Paul. You got to be U.S. They usually do. Got to be U.S. citizen. They usually do a lot of desktop support, deployment positions, migrations. Now, they basically said that they need people to support security screening equipment at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport. So basically, you need to be available overnight to travel to training and support remote airports. The candidate will need to be computer literate in a Windows environment and be capable of documenting service issues in a CRM system. Now you got to be able to push and pull 200 pounds, carry 50 pounds, move and manipulate equipment weighing up to 1,000 pounds, such as carts, hoists, Devic trains, pallet jacks. They want you to be able to be good at electronic repair, troubleshooting methodology, product knowledge, isolating fault to root cause, cross trains on products assigned in the field, display basic proficiency in servicing the trace checkpoint, smart lane, whole body imager, x-ray cargo systems, product lines, working knowledge of business applications such as Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Yeah, so, you know, field service position. I sent it to one of my guys. They said, well, he doesn't fit the bill because he's too technical. And I'm like, well, what the hell? You know, I'm quite sure whatever this is you're doing, if this person comes from an IT background. So they said, well, we sent other people over there and their experience and skill set wouldn't be a good match. It's not a good fit. And basically they're looking, I guess, for more field support. So, you know, I don't know. A lot of times they'll do that. Sometimes they'll just say, well, we just want people with more electrical, but they didn't. Electrical support wasn't one of their main things. They said they wanted people with some electrical support. They said that after the fact. Now they did mention it a little bit in the description, but man, I don't know, man. I mean, sometimes these places, I think they just kind of pick who they want. I don't know. I don't know. But I wanted to cover something here. Now, this was on the Defender, Children's Defense News and Views. Privacy experts ripped the TSA plan to rapidly expand digital driver's license system. Critics of the Transportation Security Administration, which is the TSA, proposal to waive certain federal law requirements for digital driver's licenses say the TSA's plan would rapidly expand the use of digital licenses in the U.S. before appropriate privacy safeguards are in place. The American Civil Liberties Union and 3 other civil rights and privacy organizations recently filed legal comments objecting to the proposal. Summarizing the group's concerns, Jay Stanley, an ACLU senior policy analyst, said, quote, the TSA is threatening to prematurely lock in a harmful digital identity system that allows ID card issuers to track where people show their ID, fails to include a number of important privacy protections, and fails to ensure that the system is free from the control of particular private corporations. The proposed digital driver's license, commonly called mobile driver licenses or MDLs, will be accepted by federal agencies of official purposes. Instead of holding digital IDs to set rules by federal law, in this case the Real ID Act and the Real ID Modernization Act, the TSA wants to impose rules drawn from various federal government information technology standards and standards proposed by private industry groups, Stanley said. If the TSA moves forward with what it has proposed, the agency could force a bad digital ID system on America, Stanley said. In short, whatever rules the TSA comes up with for federally compliant digital IDs will force the states to comply and are likely to govern what the nation ends up with. Now, other civil liberty advocates who spoke with the Defender, including attorney John Whitehead, cautioned that any digital ID system adopted in the U.S. would likely be used by the government to control its citizens. Sounds like something that they would do. Sounds like something that they're up for the task. Because, of course, we know the government won't control us, right? We know they wouldn't do that to us Americans, right? Whitehead said the ACLU and its ally organizations were correct in urging the TSA to slow down but that the goal should not just be to slow down the transition to digital IDs. Citizens should resist any measure to roll out digital IDs, Whitehead said, because governments and the corporations they partner with will ultimately use them to take control. He added, anything we do to fight back against that, I say let's do it. Now, what's the hurry? What's the hurry? What is the hurry, it says? In addition to the ACLU, the other commenting organizations were the Center for Democracy and Technology, the Electronic Privacy Information Center, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation. In their comments, the organization said U.S. citizens are not pushing for quick adoption of digital IDs. We asked, what's the hurry? There was no popular demand driving TSA's adoption of MDLs and no reason to rush into incorporating them into airline security process, especially given that doing so will have repercussions far beyond the airport context. I thought something was very interesting. One of my folks emailed me and told me he was trying to get his driver's license and was having trouble because, a lot of stuff was booked up. Sometimes it is booked up, when it gets cold. Some people try to get their IDs. But then he said that he was given information that anybody without a social security number doesn't have to pay for their exam or their ID. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. They were speaking in code. They must have been talking about illegals. Because if you ain't got no social security number, if you're a citizen, you got a social. Even if you lost your card, well, you still got a social. So you're saying, who are these people you're saying don't have social security numbers? Who are you talking about? I thought that was very interesting when he told me that. Very interesting. He said it's all booked up and that he was told that anybody with a social don't have to pay for the exam. I kind of thought about that statement he made when I'm looking at this article here. The TSA is proposing to shortcut the process of developing rules that will protect people's privacy, they said. The Real ID Modernization Act requires a driver license stored or accessed via electronic means, such as a mobile or digital driver's license, must have been issued in accordance with regulations prescribed by the Secretary. Well, y'all might want to check out, go to childrensdefense.org and type in privacy experts, TSA, if you will. Yeah, that article came out on the 28th. I thought that was kind of interesting. These folks. Then going down here, this Whitehead guy criticized the TSA for playing a big money game in which the government works with corporations to suit its desires for control at the expense of people's freedom of privacy. Of course, they may say it's for safety, he said. They use anything they can to take control. Well, if they're so concerned about our damn safety, you wouldn't be letting folks come across the border every 5,000 every damn week. You wouldn't be letting all these thousands of people that you don't know anything about to just show up if it's all for safety. Now, Michael Rettenwald, PhD, the author of Google Archipelago, The Digital Gulag and the Simulation of Freedom, agreed. He told the Defender, quote, while the ACLU is most concerned with the corporate exploitation of digital identity for commercial ends, the most significant danger of digital identity lies in the surveillance, tracking, and control functions that it affords the state. With digital identities, citizen subjects would surrender to the state complete transparency over every move, allowing themselves to be tracked from the cradle to the grave. Digital ID is likely subject to what Rechtenwald called function creep, he said. While it may begin as mere identification, new elements can and likely will be added. Well, listen to this. These functions could include vaccine status, social and political profiles, as well as connection to central bank digital currency. Damn. Yeah, man. Jeez. I'm getting some Bill Gates of hell. I'm getting some Bill Gates of hell energy on here. I don't know. Oh, speaking of him, UN launches Gates-funded global digital ID program as experts warn of totalitarian nightmare. This is on December 30th. With support from the Bill and Melinda Gates of Hell Foundation, the United Nations this month launched an ambitious country-led campaign to promote and accelerate the development of a global digital public infrastructure, a DPI, a digital public infrastructure. The United Nations said its 50 in 5 campaign will spur the construction of an underlying network of components that includes digital payments, ID, and data exchange system, which will serve as a critical accelerator of the Sustainable Development Goals. The goal of the campaign is for 50 countries to have designed, implemented, and scaled at least one DPI component in a safe, inclusive, and interoperable manner in 5 years. Critics of the campaign include Tim Hinchcliffe, editor of The Sociable, who told The Defender he believes DPI is a mechanism for surveillance and controls that combines digital ID, central bank digital currencies, which is CBDC, vaccine passports, and carbon footprint tracking data, paving the way for 15-minute smart cities, future lockdowns, and systems of social credit. So social credit is like, okay, if I'm turning up at Popeyes and I get me a chicken sandwich and do a backflip and play some Sexy Red or something like that, I might have a high social credit. Oh, he's cool. That I don't know. Jeez. In September 2022, the Bill Gates of Hell Foundation allocated $200 million to expand global digital public infrastructure as a part of a broader plan to fund $1.27 billion in health and development communities towards the goal of achieving the SDGs by 2030. Why is Gates of Hell always involved in some damn jabs and stuff, man? It seems like every time you look up, this dude has something to do with GMOs and jabs and everything else. I don't get it. What is this guy saying here?
Over the next 5 years, we are committed to enhancing and establishing key DPI components. As you mentioned, the payment system, the digital signature, the digital identity, all of those components are available in Moldova. They are currently being actually in a permanent state of evolution. And the source of our biggest excitement is our work on our government super app. It's modeled after the very successful Ukrainian DIA app, our friends and neighbors and brothers from Ukraine, and it's been an inspiration also for our application, which will be launched in the coming few months. And again, it's the way we see it, it's a one-stop shop for citizen to government and business to government interaction without need of any hassle, any bureaucracy, any paperwork, and so on. Because again,
so now, like, okay, if you're a prostitute, would you go to Cash App somebody or something like, man, Moldova, okay, jeez. So the Nook and Cranny distribution is today. Togo became the first sub-Saharan African country whose digital COVID vaccination certificate is recognized by the EU Commission. Oh, Lord. Jeez. They done got Africa. Well, man, oh, man, oh, man. They couldn't wait to get over there. They couldn't wait to get over there. And they're making it sound like it's so good. Y'all might want to check out that article. Go to the Defender. Yeah, type in the Defender. And then look up on that December 30 or November 30th. UN launches Gates-funded global digital ID program as experts warn of totalitarian nightmare. My goodness. They make it sound so great. They make it sound so wonderful. You're like, well, DP, you're in tech. Why are you such a hypocrite? Damn it, man. This shit is creepy. Next stop, y'all. Next stop. What is the next stop? Zone 414. We're going to do a review on that. We're going to do a review on Zone 414. All right? We're going to do a review We're going to do analysis. We're going to do a tech analysis on the movie Zone 414, which is also another Netflix joint. I'm going to take some major notes on that one too, and I might try to review that live. We'll see what it do. Hey, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Hit the like button. Hit that like button, man. Hit the like button and like, share, and subscribe. We're talking tech tonight. We're definitely talking a lot of tech tonight. Giving you the breakdown on Stillwater. Giving you the breakdown on why I was hesitant as to taking the position down there. No, just go ahead and send me a laptop if we gonna do that. Just send me a laptop. I'm not interested. All right, yeah. All right, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, hit the like button. You know, make sure you go check that out. I'll see y'all soon.